Well, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out to see the film, and particularly want to thank Georgakas for creating the film and for setting up this event. This film is less an autobiography of me than to try and give a sense or a taste of radicals in Greek America and American radicals in general. So it's the work we do and the fact that it's not individualism that's very important. When you look at this film, keep thinking of those things. I'm not doing, whatever I'm doing, I'm not doing by myself. I'm doing with other people. I was born in Detroit, Michigan, which is the most proletarian city in the United States. So growing up thinking of how life could be better, we were always thinking about auto workers because everybody was an auto worker, or they had a store in which the auto workers were the customers, or if they're professionals, a doctor, a lawyer, etc. So I've done a lot of teaching for trade unions, and I've done teaching for colleges, labor studies programs, and most of the students I've had have been workers of one kind or another: postal workers, beginning teachers, assembly line workers, garment workers, etc. And I've written a monograph about Greek American radicals in the 20th century, in which I broke the silence about the Greek American left. Until I wrote that essay, no one had ever written. People had said, "Oh, there is no left. It's like a disease that when the Greek Americans stay away from that disease." Well, it turned out it's not a disease, and there are plenty of Greek Americans involved in it. Through the 1960s, I was quite active in the New Left movement against the war in Vietnam, of course, Black liberation movement, and we always say Black liberation movement, not civil rights. The beginning of the ecology movement, and all within the context that capitalism isn't working. I was always identified as a Greek. When I was a child growing up, my buddies used to call me El Greco or Greco, and that was affectionate. It wasn't derogatory. But I never got much involved with Greece-oriented political movements until the junta. We faced tremendous opposition, all the fraternity groups, the church, the Greek American newspapers, and many politicians opposed us. So we had a hard time building a mass movement. Although there were hundreds of people that were activists, and many more that participated in events. We had events with thousands of people. We had radio programs and newspapers and conferences and what have you. But with the Polytechnic is when Greek America woke up and suddenly everything changed. Even the church came out against the junta. The people who had been in the anti-junta movement did not disappear and go home. They stayed in the community and particularly began working in newspapers, education, in some of the larger organizations, and became very prominent in those organizations. So as of today, I would say Greek America is far more sophisticated regarding Greece than it was in 1967. And we've had some successes. Golden Dawn attempted to create an organization in New York City, and it was completely stopped by a movement led by leftists, but which included other people as well, even including some church people and newspaper reporters and so forth. The very people that had been against us in some ways during the junta period now suddenly understood we can't tolerate this. Another thing that I've been very interested in through the years has been film. I'm from the movie-made generation. I mean, we're now in the video generation, social media, but I came from the movie-made generation. I would go to the movies I would see at least 4 films a week, and had a great passion for films. And we started a magazine in the 1960s called Cineast, which aimed to give a left perspective on American film, to publicize people in Europe, because the European directors were not getting much visibility, and we particularly gave publicity to anybody with a leftist point of view, who were usually closed out at that time. One of the things we did with the magazine was we fought for the Hollywood blacklisted writers whose names had been taken off films they'd written about. Even if they won an Academy Award, their name wasn't even on the film. And we've been part of the movement that was able to restore their credits. And we published interviews with them and pretty much helped change the attitude. Now you'll see there's going to be a Hollywood movie about the leading blacklisted writer. That would have been impossible when we first started. I also would like to conclude by saying that Greek America has benefited greatly by Greek filmmakers. The very best films by Greek America have been made by Greeks from Greece. They've been very well received in the United States. It's always nice to see how other people see you. And sometimes people from abroad are more candid and can take on topics that the local people feel a little nervous about. I'm thinking also, for instance, of this Lamprini Toma did a film on the Louis Tikas, who was a major martyr at Ludlow, which was the biggest coal strike in the history of the United States. And Tikas is now become somebody that every Greek American knows about. And of course, Kostas, you've done a wonderful job with Greek American radicals, in which you totally smashed the silence visually about the Greek American left. And that's been well received in the United States, and I think it's been well received in Greece as well. And all I can say is this little film we did, in which I sort of stand in for the movement, if it is successful as the other film you've made, I'd be very honored. And so I hope, I know Greece is in a very tough situation now, but you have support of the diaspora. It's mainly philanthropic. We haven't found the political way to really engage, but there have been some meetings with the Vice President of the United States, and there's been some other things of that nature. Whether that will come to, what that'll generate is unclear. But you're not alone, and hopefully better days lie ahead.